Let's go. Let's go. 4:10 in the morning.
Alarm clock needed. My passion wakes me up. Listen to me, no alarm clock.
I don't run to fit in with a crowd. I don't even really run for exercise, although that's nice. I run because for years and years and years, I told myself I couldn't, that it was too hard, that I weighed too much, that I was too tall. Let me tell you something. It's all bullshit. If I can do it, so can you.
This is the story about how a 10K race for me became more than just crossing the finish line. When I decided to take running seriously, I downloaded an app called Runna. Now, one of the things that this app does is creates custom training plans. My first goal was a 5-mile race I did back in the beginning of February. So let's get into it.
Hey, what's up, F3 Plainfield? It is January the 13th. I'm Spit Valve. We're here at the Coliseum for a run club. Just got done doing 4 miles in negative 10-degree weather at 5 in the morning. Is there anything better? Well, you see what I look like. The answer is no. No, there is not anything better. Let's get it.
My goal was to run this race in under 55 minutes, and I absolutely nailed that goal. The training plan became my structure. 4 runs a week. One was an easy run. One was interval. One was a tempo run, which means that you're running fast and slow alternating. And one was a long run. I stuck to the plan and I nailed the goal. And this gave me great confidence going forward. Now, my next goal, a 10K in under an hour, turned out to be quite ambitious, maybe a little bit too much so.
Feeling cute. Think I'll go run 6 miles. What do you think? Let's go. I'm about 3.5 miles in, and I'm taking a quick breather. Check something on my phone, put a new track on. Listen, I'm not gonna run this 10K without stopping, but I will run it without quitting, and I will keep going. That's what it's all about. Just keep going. So I'm all done with the 10K. And let me be honest with you about something. It hasn't been the perfect weekend. It really hasn't. Coached 2 volleyball games, didn't win either one. Felt sick, slept till 10 a.m. this morning. But all it takes is one win. One win on a Sunday afternoon. Come out and run 10K. And you've won your weekend. You've won your day. That's all it takes. So get out there and do it. You can. If I can, you can. I know that. Stay sharp.
One of the things that we can all relate to with any goal is when we have breaks or gaps. And in this case, we took a trip to Disneyland as a family, and I had this grand plan. I was going to run 3 or 4 times that week, and I just didn't. We walked 10, 15 miles a day in the theme parks, but there's a difference between walking in that capacity and running for training. The very next week, I ran in a 5K race, and there were actually some lessons from that race that I can take with me as well. But the first lesson was even small gaps in training can have consequences. Now, was it a huge deal? No. But as I think about that race in Shanahan, I had the 30-minute goal and I was just over 31. Still a great time, a personal best from that point. And as I took off, and this was the part that I knew, when you take off in a race, you are going to take off fast. You're going to go a little bit faster. Your adrenaline is going to be flowing, and it's going to feel like you're not putting in the effort that it would normally require to run at that particular speed. And I take off and I'm running faster than 9-minute mile and I'm feeling great. I'm like, dude, I'm going to do this. This is going to be great. And then there's a first little hill there and you go up, and then I'm starting to feel burned about 3K in. And we get to the turnaround, we're heading back, and I'm just kind of dying. I'm not going to make my pace goal. This 5K was about, a little bit more than a month from the 10K. It was a good benchmark point for me.
We're less than 5 minutes from the start. You ready? You ready? Let's go. Heading to the start line. Heading to the start line. Personal best by 1.5 minutes. Not the under 30, but hey, there's plenty of 5Ks. I'll get the next one. Well, it's Sunday night. I don't feel particularly great. I've been kind of sick with allergies since yesterday afternoon when I ran my 5K, but I've got to run 7 miles. So I'm going to do a block run, which is 3.5 miles of conversational pace. So that means as fast as I can go while still be able to hold a conversation. And for me, that's around 12 miles or 12-minute mile. And then the second half of the run is just a bit faster than that, about 11.5, 11:15. So that's not quite my tempo pace. And the tempo pace is the pace that you would run maybe for an extra long race or something like that. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that tempo pace down under 10 minutes so that I can run a 10K in under an hour. But right now that tempo pace is at about 10.5. So I'm going to run the second half of this run at 11:15 and just try to build up some endurance. So here we go. Well, I'm halfway through my run, did 3.5, and I came out pretty slow because I've never done 7 before. I've done a 10K several times, but I've never done 7 before. So I came out at slower than 13, kind of hung around 13 most of the time. But that's okay. I'll kick it up here for this last 3.5. But, you know, it didn't feel great. Ran a 5K yesterday. And what's funny is I was probably cruising at just under 10-minute miles during that 5K and was pushing it to about 9:15, 9:20. And the effort that I was putting in to do that felt a lot like the effort I was just putting in now, just to stay under 13-minute mile. It really is amazing the time of the day, what you've eaten, the amount of sleep you've gotten, what you feel like, how that can all affect what you're doing. What's funny though is even though I've just put my body through a lot of stress for the last, 30 or so minutes, I actually feel significantly better than I did when I started this run. So I'm coming up to the path here. It's a nice long stretch, almost 2 miles of just bike path, a little bit of an incline, and then mostly downhill. So this will be a nice way to get myself going on some speed here and getting up through almost to mile 6, and then I'll finish off nice and strong with that last mile on the way home. So I'll check in with you then. There it is, 7 miles, baby, on a Sunday night. It hurt. That last half mile was rough especially, but I did it. And let me tell you what, you feeling like crap before? Go on a nice long run. Your body's gonna hurt, but your brain is gonna feel so good. All right, that's it. Go out there and win your weekend. Stay sharp. Well, I'm halfway through my run, did 3.5, and I came out pretty slow because I've never done 7 before. I've done a 10K several times, but I've never done 7 before. So I came out at slower than 13, kind of hung around 13 most of the time. But that's okay. I'll kick it up here for this last 3.5. But, it didn't feel great. Ran a 5K yesterday. And what's funny is I was probably cruising at just under 10-minute miles during that 5K and was pushing it to about 9:15, 9:20. And the effort that I was putting in to do that felt a lot like the effort I was just putting in now, just to stay under 13-minute mile. It really is amazing the time of the day, what you've eaten, the amount of sleep you've gotten, what you feel like, how that can all affect what you're doing. What's funny though is even though I've just put my body through a lot of stress for the last, 30 or so minutes, I actually feel significantly better than I did when I started this run. So I'm coming up to the path here. It's a nice long stretch, almost 2 miles of just bike path, a little bit of an incline, and then mostly downhill. So this will be a nice way to get myself going on some speed here and getting up through almost to mile 6, and then I'll finish off nice and strong with that last mile on the way home. So I'll check in with you then. There it is, 7 miles, baby, on a Sunday night. It hurt. That last half mile was rough especially, but I did it. And let me tell you what, you feeling like crap before? Go on a nice long run. Your body's gonna hurt, but your brain is gonna feel so good. All right, that's it. Go out there and win your weekend. Stay sharp. Cloudy, windy, 75 degrees. Great day for a run, don't you think? Let's go. Reminder that when you have to stop and walk because it's so windy that you feel like you're running with a parachute, you're still a runner. When you're training for a longer race like a 10K or half marathon or marathon, something I've learned is it's about the long game. It's about all of the miles that you cumulatively put under your feet. Today was my short run of the week. It was 3.2 miles. And even though I didn't make my pace goals, you know what I did? I did 3.2 miles. And that means I'm 3.2 miles closer to my goals. All right, it's Saturday evening. I'm gonna run 8 miles. All right, I'm about 4 miles in, and I'm actually further away from my house on one of these runs than I've ever been. I've run 7 miles before, but I did it in a closer loop. This time I very intentionally ran so that I would be further away from my house, and the only choice I have is to run 7 or 8 miles to get back. So here I go. I'll check in with you in a little bit. Number one thing when street running is being safe. If you die doing it, you're not going to get to do it again. I've done it 8 miles. 8 miles. And the only time I stopped was to cross the street.
Here's the thing about a 9.5 mile run. This thing's been on my training plan since the beginning, and I've been looking at it for many weeks. There's not a doubt as to whether or not I can do it or not. I know I can.
1/3 of the way there. You know, there's something about doing an out and back run, especially if it's a long one. You know, going out can be hard. You know you have a long way to go. But once you turn back and you start going home, something picks up inside you. Just get a little bit more. A little over 10K down, 5K to go. Let's do this. Good Lord. I feel like I'm a fucking crazy ass dude, man. Oh, all right, well, that's 9.5. There it is. Well, today is the first real hot day that I've run, and it's going pretty much how you would expect. I'm supposed to be doing a 5.5 mile tempo run with 3 miles of tempo pace in the middle, and I'm about halfway through that 3 miles after a 1.5 mile warm up, and I'm absolutely dead. So after a few kind of so-so runs, I needed a bit more of a win, especially after the heat run yesterday where I couldn't even make it through. I got to find that pace. If I can find that pace, I'm going to be successful. And then after that, I just kind of ran around 11 for the last half mile or so. So 2.5, not bad. It's better than the last couple runs I've done. So we'll take that as a win.
I don't know what it is about mornings sometimes, but man, I just feel like absolute trash. I actually got to my run club spot at 4:30 and had to drive to a gas station to go to a bathroom because I just couldn't continue until I did. Now I'm heading back. Still feel like absolute trash. Went to the bathroom, so I feel better about that, but still feel like I have to go to the bathroom. So, yay. Well, I ended up pushing myself. I got almost 5.5. So that's pretty good. You know, I had set a goal of 7, and then I lost a pretty good chunk of time because I had to hit the bathroom. But I ended up getting 5.5. I ran a couple of the miles sub 10. It's always good to run with other people because they push you a little bit. So I'll make up the extra half a mile on Friday. I'll do a 5 instead of a 4.5, and I'll be good to go.
So the evening immediately following the segment you just saw with me in the car having to go to the bathroom, as I was driving to work that morning, which you saw a little bit of, I really felt super nauseous. And that evening I ended up going to the hospital. And as it turned out, I had some sort of viral colon thing. And it turned out not to be so significant, but they were worried that I had some more significant colon issues. And it really put my running in doubt temporarily. And even the night before the race, I had a fever. But fortunately, and with the assistance of some doctors, I was okay, and I was okay to run, and I got back to it.
Well, after being in the hospital on Wednesday, eating a liquid diet on Thursday and Friday and taking it easy, and being in a volleyball tournament all weekend supporting my son, I'm going to try this running thing again. We're going to get out there. Got a 10K in less than a week, and we got to get back to it. And so let's see how I hold up. I've got a route here that could go as long as 5 miles, but I can cut it as short as 3. So we're going to get out there and see how I feel and go from there. 4 days ago in the hospital, wondering if I might have a serious colon issue. And today I'm out here doing miles. You just got to keep pushing, because you never know where life's going to bring you. And if there's one thing that I can say with certainty, this time out here on the road, things can work themselves out. You can work yourself out. You can get things worked out, because I guarantee you, at the other side of this run, you're gonna feel better. So we're 5K in, still going. I think I'm gonna go for 5. Going for the full 5. I'll check in with you later. Wednesday night, laying in a hospital bed. Thursday off from work, laying in my bed. Friday back to work, not doing so good. Saturday, eating nothing but liquids. Sunday, 6 miles. That's how you come back.
I get to the week of the race and I'm leading the running workout on a Tuesday morning, pouring rain, it's thunder and lightning. And so the lightning had subsided, but the rain was still coming down. Now I might not have gone. I might have canceled myself if I wasn't scheduled to lead, but because I was scheduled to lead, I had to be there.
Just got done running 5K in the rain, pouring down rain, stupid wind. And I got to be honest, there's a world where I may have just decided not to come out today, but I was actually leading this run club today, and so I had to come out. I couldn't not come. And you know what? As my friend Bill said, this is the hardest thing that I'm going to do today. It really is. So stay sharp.
4 a.m. My time of day is the dark time. 4:30 a.m. It's the week of that 10K. Have I hit every mile? No. Have I hit every pace goal? No. But I've been out there every week running, and that's what counts. I'll see you on Saturday.
And so we get to race day. It's perfect weather. It's not too hot. The sun's out, but not too bright. And we're lining up. We get into the corrals for the race. And I had never run a race where they lined you up and started you in waves in different corrals. Obviously, I was familiar with the concept, but I had never actually done it. And so as I talk about the race, that factor plays a big part, because when our corral got ready to go and we were starting, I thought, I don't want to get off too fast. Well, getting off too fast was not the issue. In fact, getting off too slow and fighting that was.
Ceremony?
Here we are at the Soldier Field 10. Got Susie Marcia, my buddy Gordon's wife, because my buddy Gordon doesn't run, but his wife runs.
I fought for about 3/4 of a mile just to get up to what I thought was a reasonable pace. So I'm 2 miles in and I'm already starting to feel burn. Now, as I got to the 5K point, which was the halfway, and turned back, I didn't see what my time was. My wife actually texted my time and I saw it on my watch, and I saw that it was pretty much in line with the personal best that I had established about a month earlier. In mile 4 and into mile 5, I really started dying. But about maybe halfway through mile 5, I looked at the timer and I thought, you know what? I can still make the 5 miles under 55 minutes. And so I can still match that personal best that I set in that 5-mile race. And so I did that. And so I really felt like, despite maybe not being clear and meeting a specific goal, that I did still have a great progression and that I was meeting personal best that I had set in smaller distances. And so I then was able to set a new personal best in the 10K, even though it wasn't necessarily the goal that I had met.
There was sound. There could be drums. There were drums. There could be guitar. There was
Why do races? You can run anytime, it's free, but yet when you go races, you're going to pay 30, 40, $50. Well, races matter because number one, anytime you run with other people, you're going to run faster. You just normally you're going to run faster. And when you race, you're dealing with both physical and mental things that you don't deal with when you're running on your own. You're going to naturally have more energy to start. You're going to have that adrenaline. Unlike other sports moments where adrenaline can really carry you, at some point you're going to regress to the mean in a race, and how you've trained and how you prepared is going to come up. Dealing with those emotions in the beginning and not overburning yourself out, that's a big part of it. But the other thing is going to a race like that, especially if you miss a goal by just a small amount and you think back on the race and go, well, it wasn't because I got tired or it wasn't because I wasn't prepared. It was because of this strategy or that strategy. Only a race day can bring that out in you and give you that realization. So in my case, a race is just a good benchmark point for me to measure how I'm doing. And with a run that long, your mind is going to drift and you're going to think about a lot of different things. Even in a race situation where the environment is changing and you might think, I'm thinking of that strategy, you're going to be a different person when you get to the end of that. And I think the same could be said about any run. But get out there and do your thing, right? Set a progressive goal. Running has really helped me do that. So if this story hit home, give this channel a like or a follow, share your goal. Let me know in the comments what kind of goals you have, especially as they might pertain to running. And whether it's running or speaking or leadership, give me a shout. Let's talk. In the comments below, there are some resources there for you if you're interested in learning more about my journey or just some of the tools that I've used or some of the things that I'm doing. All right, take care, stay sharp.